Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Searching for Players podcast. The podcast that urges you to enjoy what is left of July because beginning in August, the great deluge of games will begin and won't stop until December. But I'm sure most of you will just wait till Black Friday like I do to get all the games. Anyways, as always, I am David, Player 1, and joining me as almost always, Alina, Player 2.
What's up?
So first, real quick, I know this was a couple podcasts ago, but I do have a quick correction. Super Lucky's Tale, I talked about that coming to the Xbox One. I kept saying it was a console exclusive. It's coming to the PC, Windows 10 as well. For some reason in their conference, they kept saying Xbox One, console exclusive. But then when you watch the trailer, it says like Xbox One X and PC and stuff. So I got that one wrong, and I looked it up to make sure. But anyways, so let's dive in. This is something me and Dallas actually talked about last week. Nintendo announced the SNES Mini, replacing, of course, the NES Mini. We kind of talked about we thought they might be going this direction. And I bring it up again. I'll just mention it again. It comes out in September. It's going to have 21 games, and it's going to be $80. So $20 more with 9 games less than the Nintendo Mini. But the reason I wanted to bring it up was I asked Dallas these same questions, so I wanted to see what your thoughts were. The Nintendo execs have said they learned their lesson and there will be more in stock at launch.
Okay.
Do you believe that?
No, not for 1 second. Not for 1 second do I believe that.
And I think when the NES Mini became hard to find, that's going to make the SNES even more in demand before it's come out.
Oh, yeah.
So there'll be even more people looking for it. So even if they have upped it a little bit, it still won't be enough.
They're not going to be ready again.
Right.
When are they ever?
Right.
No.
The other question, too, I asked Dallas was, do you think they will stop making it as quickly as they did the NES Mini?
Hopefully not, but who knows? If they're saying that they're running out of supply or parts then what makes the SNES different? Like, aren't you guys using the same stuff for the chips? Or, like...
Right.
That's sort of weird that they're like, oh, yeah, we'll make more... No, I don't know.
Right. Well, and some people thought the NES Mini was kind of like a filler thing before the Switch came out, something to make money. It was bigger than they thought, so now they're just moving on to the SNES Mini. Are you at all interested in this?
I am a little bit, but it depends on what games are on it.
So they've shown like it's Super Mario World, Mario Kart, of course, Link to the Past, Super Metroid, some of the old RPGs like Final Fantasy 3, which I think is Final Fantasy 6? Yeah. Star Fox 2, which is sort of a big deal. That's the one that was never actually released. It was basically finished, but they moved on to the Nintendo 64, never released it and all that. I guess you have to beat the first level. The other Star Fox will be on there. So once you beat the first level of that one, it will unlock Star Fox 2 for you. Secret of Mana, Earthbound, like Super Punch-Out. So
I'm interested.
See, I'm definitely more interested in this than I was the NES. Plus, a lot of those old NES games I already had digitally in some form, like on the Wii and all that. Not as many with this.
Yeah.
But I said this last time, I'm just not quite interested enough to be like, yes, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. and go wait in line outside of GameStop or whatever, Best Buy. So I don't know if I can maybe snag a pre-order, but I don't feel the need to fight people to get my hands on one.
Now I'm like, I might have to go pre-order this because all those old games, like I never got through Earthbound. Like I started it at some point, like emulators, right? So SNES, my experience with it, other than like when I was a kid, was emulator stuff. So all those games were so easily emulated for whatever reason. I never figured out why, but I played a lot of SNES games through that.
Right.
And I'd love to be able to actually own them and play them on my TV and stuff like that. So a lot of ones I never finished. Probably a lot of those, that list right there. But, I've always been interested in those. So I'm like, maybe this time I'm going to...
Right. Yeah, it's definitely more tempting. So, and I think they said it comes with 2 controllers this time. And I want to say I read somewhere that they said that they've made the cord longer. I guess people had issues with the cord on the original was way too short. So, cool. Yeah. So I just wanted to see what your opinions were. Yeah. My other question, do you think they will make another system after this. Either something like a Nintendo 64.
Mini 64.
Or maybe like a Game Boy Advance, where you play Game Boy Advance games.
I don't see why not.
The Game Boy Advance thing would actually intrigue me to be able to play.
To be like on TV?
Mm-hmm.
That might be interesting too. Well, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, didn't they kind of do that with like...
Yeah, there was
GameCube
a
or
GameCube.
something,
There was an attachment for the bottom, and then you could put the Game Boy games into it.
Yeah.
And then they stopped making that real quick,
Uh-huh.
and it became... I remember I was actually working at GameStop at that time, so whenever we got one in, it was like super rare.
Yeah.
They were like, I think at least like $80, which at the time for an accessory was
Yeah.
ridiculous. Used, $80 used, you know? So I wish I had snagged one, but I never grabbed one. But
I think my friend might have had one at one point, but I don't know if I actually like really used it. I don't know. I didn't play a whole lot of advanced games, but
yeah, and there's definitely a lot of classics. Some of the Metroid games on advanced, even like some of those Final Fantasy games and stuff. So
and those were fun. The tactics ones and stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, so last week me and Dallas took a little bit of a break from gaming. We talked about a few gaming related things, but at E3, of course, we covered all the major conference stuff. But there were a lot of things shown on the floor that we didn't talk about. So today I was going to talk about technically 3 games that have caught my eye, 2 of which are coming out pretty soon. The first being Yakuza Kiwami. That comes out at the end of August 29th. That it's a remake of Yakuza, the original Yakuza from PS2.
That's right.
And it's only $30. And you can actually, if you pre-order it, you can get the Steelbook version, still $30. So that's a done deal for me.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for this. I will admit, I own most of the Yakuza games. The only one I've actually played all the way through was the original on PS2. So I need to sit down and play 0. And I guess one of the major changes, supposedly they've added around 30 minutes of more like cutscene stuff.
From
and
one?
they've... What's that?
From 1?
Yeah,
Okay.
for 1. And some of that helps tie Yakuza 0 even more into Yakuza.
Is it not stuff they originally cut out for the English release, or is it?
I think some of it's new because this is not just like a remaster.
Right.
This is
Of course,
brand new
no, you couldn't remaster that.
Yeah. So a lot of it is, I think, brand new to help tie it into 0 even tighter. So I'm excited. I don't know if this is on your radar.
I mean, it kind of is because Matt's super into Yakuza, but I mean, I've always wanted to play them. It's one of those other things. But I think he has all of them.
Okay.
So I think I would maybe start with. I mean, he has 0 now, so maybe I should start with 0 and go chronologically.
I think you could start with 0
know.
or you could start with Kiwami.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still standalone title. That's the nice thing. Most of the Yakuzas, a lot of the characters carry over, but each one's pretty much its own contained adventure or whatever you want to call it. If nobody's ever played a Yakuza, and I know a lot of people hate making this comparison, but it's kind of like Grand Theft Auto.
Right.
But the story is super serious, but then there's all these, I hate to use the word goofy, but like kind of wacky side things you can do, ranging from like, batting cages and bowling alleys and things like that to going to hostess clubs, doing karaoke, going dancing, and then like some just off the wall stuff like helping a YouTuber get more hits on their videos, or you can usually go to arcades, and because these early games actually take place like in the 80s, so you can go to the arcades and play full versions of old Sega games and stuff like that. I think like Afterburner was one. Outrun.
I think you can still do those in the newer ones.
Yeah, and the newer ones I think have gotten newer. We'll talk about it in a second, but Yakuza 6 is coming out, and I think you can play Virtua Fighter 5, like the most recent Virtua Fighter, fully
so
in
weird.
the game and stuff. So, but yeah, Kiwami comes out this year. I think it's a great deal at $30. Like I said, you don't have to have played 0 to play this one. So yeah, I'm excited for it. And it's cool. It'll be interesting. It's been a long time since I played the original, but it'll be interesting to see the differences between the two. And I know there's a lot. They've added a lot more side quests and stuff.
I heard it was really cut down and like the crazy dub acting and all that kind of stuff.
That's the other thing. The original. It's so weird. The original PS2 had a whole English dub.
Yeah.
Did not give you the option to listen to it in Japanese, which at the time they said it was because they couldn't fit both language tracks on a PS2 disc. But it was like an all-star celebrity
so
cast.
weird.
and they just didn't fit the characters.
No,
like you could have done it in English a certain way,
Uh-huh.
but like Mark Hamill, I forget who all the actors. Mark Hamill stood out to me. I remember, but it was just
maybe I'm thinking wrong. Marky Mark 2 or no?
He may have been.
Yeah.
I have to go back and look now, but yeah, it was so weird. So yeah, this one's all in Japanese, which is great.
Yeah,
and it's a very Japanese culture.
Yeah,
game.
so it's weird
to have it in Japanese just makes more sense.
Yeah.
And like I said, so the other one they showed off on the floor, and you can look up a lot of this footage online. A couple different websites got to play it. I can't put any of that footage over ours because it's their footage.
Mm-hmm.
But Yakuza 6, The Song of Life.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't come out till sometime early 2018. They haven't put a firm date on it. So the cool thing about this one is this is the first one built from the ground up for the PS4. Yakuza 0 was on PS4, but it was on PS3 in Japan. And all the other ones that have come out have all been PS3, except the original two were obviously PS2. Even the Yakuza Kiwami was originally on PS3 in Japan, and we're getting the slightly improved PS4 version. So one of the great things, watching the footage, Yakuza 6 has no load times, where the old ones would have, like, if you go into a building, it'd be like a quick load time. Yeah. Now you just seamlessly go into buildings. The other cool thing is the older ones had what I would call almost like that RPG, where you would run into people on the street, and then it would do like the battle music, the screen would do something, and then you're in like a confined area. And it was like a fighting game, beat 'em up type mechanics, but it had that RPG feel of you're in the city, now you're in the battle screen, now you're back to the city. Yakuza 6, it's seamless. They see you, they run up to you, and you just start fighting in that area wherever you are. So,
cool. I mean, I like the intros and stuff, so I don't know if
that's,
they're still going to have maybe the cut-ins at least, but...
Yeah, I mean, I watched some of the combat. There's, those moments where you've got someone on the ropes, and then you hit the triangle, and then you do, like, crazy combos and stuff like that, so... And it looked really good. You could tell, like, the cities looked a lot... Like, walking around the city looked a lot, bigger, a lot better draw distance, that sort of thing, so... They had, like, a crazy, like, workout plan. You had a trainer. Like, they just showed a lot of the different mini-game things you could do. That's the one, actually, where I saw the YouTube guy walking around with a selfie stick. Yeah. The guy goes to the batting cage and wants to see how fast their fastballs really are. So he like stands there and lets it hit him in the face, and then he lets it hit him in the crotch and stuff, like all this random stuff. And so anyways, that's kind of what you can expect from a Yakuza. Is like the main story is always serious,
right?
But then all the side
stuff
things
is just so silly,
kind of bizarre and stuff. So. But I'm really looking forward to both of those.
Yeah,
like I said, 6 doesn't come out till next year, but
it'll give you time to beat Kiwami.
yeah, play 0 all the way through 5.
Yeah, oh god.
So.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, just squeeze all that in there for 6 months. And
one month per game.
Yeah,
that's easy. Yeah,
that's fine. Nothing else.
Nope, no more Overwatch. So the other game that I wanted to talk about, Everybody's Golf. That comes out August 29th also. All of these are PS4 exclusives too. That just kind of happened that way. And it's only going to be $40. So Everybody's Golf is the Hot Shots Golf series. And I know usually you like golf games, right? Yeah. And I just want to say I'm so glad that, like, in the PS1 days and back, right, they had a lot of Japanese titles would be renamed something else for American audiences. Right. And I understand why they do it, especially, in the 90s before the internet, you could look up games and find out exactly what they were about. They had something to catch your attention, like Dragon Quest used to be Dragon Warrior.
Oh, right.
Or like this, Everybody's Golf used to be Hot Shots Golf. Or even, this one hasn't changed, but Biohazard was Resident Evil here. And that one stayed the same, probably because that name has become so ingrained. To change that now wouldn't work as much. But so this game, I really liked Hot Shots Golf. I got into one of the ones on the PS3. There's some stuff that really looks cool, and there's some stuff that kind of has me on the fence about this one. So the cool stuff, obviously, this is the first big upgrade to Hot Shots in a while. The nice thing is, instead of the courses being like, here's this state, here's this hole, it's you can see the entire course. Okay. You can run all over the course. I was
sort
watching,
of like the same thing where it's like now you can just see everything and go everywhere. And,
Right, and it was funny, like between holes, the scoreboard would come up and you'd see all the little golfers behind it running to the next hole and stuff. Of course, like I said, the graphics look good. It's got that Hot Shots golf, pick up and play where it's like easy to learn, difficult to master kind of thing.
What golf game isn't?
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, I don't know. Some are hard to learn, and then it's like, what do I do?
That Wii golf game back,
Okay. Yeah.
The thing that it doesn't worry me, but the cool thing is the character customization is like off the chart. You can change the shape of their face, their eyes, their nose, skin color, hair. They have like a full suite of like outfits, and then you can of course customize unlock more things as you play. And I don't know if there'll be DLC stuff or whatever.
Probably.
The issue I have with that is the characters. They look clean, but they kind of have a almost like Xbox Avatar or like, you remember Mii's and stuff kind of look to them because they are so customizable.
That's always been my issue with Hot Shots. I never really liked the way the character models
and I liked the character models from at least from the one I played on the PS3. And that was because they were each unique characters with their own personalities. The one I played was the international one, so like they were all from different countries and stuff. They each had their own... They weren't fully customizable. You could buy different colors, and then they each had one alternate costume or whatever. But they had their own sort of unique look, and I felt like it was more detail. Whereas this one now, because you can customize all these little features, they're a little bit simpler. And I mean, it's cool. I would definitely make a character, try to make it look like me or whatever. Yeah. Or you could just go ridiculous with it. I don't know. I think I'm going to miss the unique characters and their personalities and stuff that
the other ones had.
Yeah, so we'll see though. But like I said, it's much more that, like I was looking just like at the shape of the face. They were showing there like pages and like all this stuff. So you can definitely get into it.
Too much customization.
Well, yeah, then you get stuck for several hours trying to make the perfect character. Yeah.
Wrong.
But that one's one that I think I would pick up, like if some other people picked it up. Because this is the first one, I believe, that has true online play. Okay. Where you can actually play, you see everybody takes their turn and goes, where previously it was like leaderboard type setups and stuff like that. You just see who could get the best high score at the end. So
maybe.
Yeah, and like I said, it's only $40, so it's not like $60 or anything.
Right.
And we can convince Alex to get it. We can have a little
golf
1v1v1.
Yeah, maybe. All right.
And there are this one has a lot of crazy mini games because I think the golf courses are so open. I've seen like golf cart racing, fishing, like you can just go up to the ponds and start fishing and stuff. So see, it's talking your language.
No, all the tedious games all in one.
So I said that one looked cool. Again, you can check out. There's a couple people playing it at E3. They recorded footage and stuff. So.
Okay. I'll have to go look. I don't know. I've never been, like I said, the characters sort of just like turned me off as far as the look of it. So I've never once like really. And
I could see that too, especially like say someone like Dallas, our resident non-gamer, right? It has a very cartoony look, and so people think, oh, it's just like a kid's golf game or whatever. The golf itself was actually pretty, deep, and you could get into it. But yeah, it definitely had a kind of like cartoony look to it. But.
So I don't know. Maybe that was a lie. I don't know. I don't know what it was about it, but I'll look into it and see if I'm more.
And I will say the thing that can make or break these kind of games are the courses, and I think so far they've only showed one set of hole or whatever holes. So I'm hoping there's like some variation. You play in some different kind of crazy places and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
So and it's not all DLC. That's sometimes I get worried about those kind because it's easy for like a golf game. Oh, let's add another, more customization, more holes, more clubs, more whatever.
Well, maybe let's not get it right away.
Wait for the Game of the Year edition or something.
Well, I mean, sure. Game of the Year, Hot Shots, that'll happen. And this maybe see if there's going to be more release on courses, if they're free or if we have to pay for them or whatever.
Right.
Because you said, like, oh, it's only $40. It's like, maybe that makes me suspicious. Right. Like, oh, it's only $40, but you have to put, like,
another $60 into
$5 down for a course or, something like that. And it's like, oh, I guess it is a $60 game if you really want to do that sort of stuff. But
Yeah, it may not be a day one buy, but it's something to kind of keep
Yeah.
an eye on and pick up.
I mean, there's so many. When does that come out?
That's August 29th.
Yes.
End of August.
There's still
Yeah, I know.
so much else.
Yeah, if you look ahead, August, September, October, and then most of November, it's just like games every week. Yeah, big releases.
I haven't really looked. I think I'm probably too afraid to.
And then December, I think right now there's like one game.
Yeah.
That's what always happens. Like one game comes out that first week of December, and then that's it. Because I think last year Dead Rising 4 like snuck in right at the beginning of December. And then December's dead, and then it starts picking up again in January. So like I said, enjoy the rest of this month, because this July's pretty slow.
Finish all your games.
Yeah.
And next month.
Brace yourself.
Yeah.
Winter is coming. Okay. I only half get that reference since I don't watch Game of Thrones. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, so brings us to our final little section.
Yeah.
Sort of new.
Okay.
I figure when we do these sort of one-on-one podcasts, it's a good opportunity for us to get to know each other better.
Oh, all right.
For our loyal viewers,
Yeah.
all 30 of them, to get to know us better.
Yeah.
It's all gaming related. So my question, since we had just talked about customization and stuff, when I think, and we've talked about this before, spending way too much time trying to customize a character. So my question, when you sit down to play, usually it's an RPG, but any game that lets you customize your character, do you just kind of go crazy with it and make a ridiculous looking character? Do you just make a character that you think looks cool, or do you actually try to sometimes model it after yourself?
Most likely C. I try to model it after myself. Not necessarily... Not like because like, oh, I want an avatar of myself. It's more like I have a frame of reference.
Right.
That's what I'm going with.
You have a mirror while you're
it's like,
doing it on the screen.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that, or I think about, I don't know. Because sometimes I'll do like guy avatars, so it's like, okay, well, then what am I doing there? I don't know. Am I making like a male version of myself, or is it like just some hot dude? Or I don't know. I don't know. Like for Monster Hunter, like that one's more or less me. Mm-hmm. So I like to pick like dark hair and darker skin and all that kind of stuff or whatever, and like cute hair, or usually the hair I'm like because then I can do lots of cool stuff with that. But I don't know. I just like I guess it'd be C. Probably more like me, depending on the game.
Okay, I'm pretty much the same way.
Yeah.
Except like if I'm playing like Mass Effect, it's like me if I were a hardened space marine or whatever, or Elder Scrolls, if I was a dragon slayer, what would I look like?
Right. Well, if they give me some weird like fantasy races, then it's like those are just fun to play with. And
but
then you're just making what's cool or what you think you're gonna want to look at for 60 hours.
I still, for some reason, almost always go human.
Yeah.
And try to make it me living in this world with other races.
I'm trying to think of like a game that I've played where I had to pick a different race, and I don't even know if I've really played any of those. Like, I never really played Skyrim, or I mean, I did, but I don't even remember what my character was.
Right, and of course, like the Elder Scrolls, of course, you could be like a cat person, a lizard person. Yeah. So then you're just like whatever.
It's like, what do I do? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. When I jump into one of those again, I'll see. It's probably usually a cat person, to be totally honest.
The only problem with that, especially in Skyrim, was nobody liked them because they had the reputation of being like thieves and stuff. So then people would automatically like charge you more, or do things like you'd be fighting an uphill battle.
Rude.
So yeah.
Okay.
That was one of the reasons I picked a native Nord character in Skyrim, because
just wanted it easy.
Everybody was like, "Hey, what's up?"
Don't want to live that hard life.
Nah. So then my follow-up question to that, and this is something when you, and again, most time it's RPGs, but other games let you do it. Name your character.
Okay.
Do you use the default name, because a lot of times they'll have a default name.
Right.
B, make a name sort of themed for that game or that world. Or C, do you always have a go-to name or / use your real name?
Okay. I usually have a go-to name. Mm-hmm. And since most avatars have been boys in the past, I have like Calum is my go-to name for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. That's just what it is. And mostly for Pokemon, and I'm trying to remember like my first Pokemon game, what my name was, and I have no clue. And I lost my blue cartridge, so I don't know where it is. So I'll never be able to check what it was. But For Persona, I go default, which is dumb because they technically don't have a default.
Right.
but I know that in the like canon manga or whatever, they have a name. So my boyfriend gets mad at me because he's like, "This is your journey. And you're supposed to pick a name," and he always picks the most hilarious names, and I love it. But I'm just like, I just can't. I just don't know why. So his is like Sinbad Capone for Persona 5. It cracks me up every time. It's like Capone-kun. It's like, but for me, I just named him Akira Kurusu because that was like the name, the MC name or whatever. So yeah, I don't know why for Persona it's been like that. I think because like I'd have to think of a Japanese name, and not that it would be like super hard for me, but I think that would be too fabricated for me for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe I'll just feel dumb doing it. So I'm just like, yeah, default Persona, which is the wrong way to do it.
Because I know Final Fantasy, they all have names like Cloud, Squall, and stuff. Do you just leave those, or do you change those?
So I change them sometimes. It depends. Like, I think when I was playing Chrono Cross, like I was really into, I don't know, Cardcaptor Sakura at the time or something like that. So all my characters were named after Cardcaptor Sakura characters. Right. And just different times I've played, I have so many saves, and it's like, oh, now they're named after this series, or now they're named after this series. And that's sort of a two-edged sword, because it's like, yeah, I'm having fun, but also I don't remember what the actual names are to these characters are.
Yeah.
So it would get to a point where I'd be like looking up stuff, and it's like, oh, this character, and I'm like, which character is that again? So yeah, I have defaults, but I guess in my younger RPG playing days, I would name them whatever, and now I'm just, I don't know, not creative.
Yeah, and it's funny you talk about that, because like in Final Fantasy X, I immediately changed his name, and then people were like, "Oh yeah, Titus this." And I'm like, "Who the heck is Titus? Which character?" And they're like, the main character. Yeah. Oh,
his name's David.
Yeah, well, no. So like when I was a little kid and I started playing video games, I was like, and I like name a character. I was always like Raptor. I'm called Raptor. Blah, blah. But then there's this old shoot 'em up game called Raptor. And that was like the default name, and I was like, "Well, I can't use Raptor anymore. That's not cool."
That's funny.
And so for some reason, I came up with Raven.
Okay.
And now I use Raven.
Yeah, for everything.
For everything.
Right. And that's a good name because it's like
it can work for guys, it can work for girls. So whatever the character is, I can just name them Raven and be done with it. And so that's absolutely my default. Nice. I always delete the name. Now some games, usually older ones, will also let you change other characters' names, and I would never touch those. Most of the newer games don't because of voice acting. Right. They have to be able to say the name. It's funny, like in Persona, when they'll just be like, he, or we're going, but the text says your name and stuff.
And I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
The workaround you have to...
Or like a Mass Effect, where you can pick the first name, but then your last name is always Shepard. So then everybody just calls you Shepard in the voice.
I thought that was pretty cool too,
yeah. But yeah, so I always use Raven. Persona 5, though, threw me for a loop. What'd you do? Because it also requires a last name. Right. And I was like, I'm not prepared for this. A last name? I literally sat there for like 30 minutes trying to think of a last name that I was good with. And I think eventually I came up with like, it's very soap opera, Lockwood. Yeah. So I'm like, Raven Lockwood. So of course then that's when we were walking around, they're like, Lockwood Coon.
Yes.
And I'm like,
oh yeah.
But
that's why I refrain from doing that for Persona, because it just flows naturally. If it's a Japanese name. Yeah. Japanese setting and all that kind of stuff.
But I'm not even joking. Like a half hour, and I was in a party with my buddy who was already playing it, and I'm like, I don't know what to do, and he's like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Because one of my buddies, he's one of those that's in the middle where he'll actually come up with a new name every time and theme it. So if he's playing like a medieval fantasy game, it'll sound medieval fantasy. If it's sci-fi, it'll be so
like every Persona name he has
too
something
much
effort. Or every SMT, I guess, like something different, and they're always hilarious. And I don't know, it was like, I can't remember what it was.
And that one, not the default name, but like you said, the canon name is Yusuke, right?
Yu Nakamura, I think.
Is that what it is?
I think so. It's Yu.
That's right. Because in the fighting game they just use those names. So
right.
Anyways, I thought that was interesting.
No, yeah.
At like some point I'll have to get Alex Player 3's opinion on that too. But
those are fun.
In-depth gaming habits.
Stuff I have to think about. See, like I have that name, but it's like for the girl's name. I'm like, I don't know, because I spent so many years just like using the boy name, and I'm like, okay, well now what do I do? Like, I think
now games give you so many more options.
Yes, my Story of Seasons game. Like, I'm like, okay, well I have a girl avatar, but I don't remember what her name is because I don't use it. So I don't know. I will have to think about it and come back and be like, oh yeah, I named it this. I think my default name is this now. So
right. Cool.
Yeah, I like this.
Yeah. So every time we have a one-on-one,
okay.
Except probably if I have a one-on-one with Dallas, obviously she doesn't have these habits. So.
What would it be, Dallas?
Yeah, that's a good question though.
It could be hypothetical.
She'd have her name is already so cool. She could use Dallas, and that works for guys or girls too.
Yeah, that's true. So. I don't know. I'd like to hear what her answers are for that.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. So I think that wraps it up for this podcast. We will hopefully be back next week, hopefully with more players. And in the meantime, like I said, brace yourselves. The games are coming. All right. Save up your money. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.